After years of pouring himself into rebuilding his life in Akwaeze, Chidi had finally found his rhythm. His quiet resilience and willingness to take on even the smallest jobs had earned him respect in the community. One day, while working in the village fields, an idea struck him. He noticed the rising demand for better built homes and thought about the number of villagers struggling with cracked, unstable mud walls that couldn't withstand the rainy season. Chidi saw an opportunity, and with his saved up earnings, he made a bold decision. He would start an interlocking brick factory right there in Akwaeze. At first, the villagers were skeptical. Many still saw Chidi as the young man who had left with big dreams only to return with so little. But Chidi knew what he was doing. He'd researched interlocking bricks, knowing that they were cost-effective, durable, and ideal for village homes. With whatever money he had managed to save from his petty jobs and contributions from supportive friends, he bought a small plot of land on the outskirts of the village and set up his first simple brick-making machine. It was slow going at first. The process of making bricks was labor-intensive, and Chidi had to work long hours, often late into the night, to meet his goals. But over time, he became skilled at his craft. His bricks were strong, affordable, and well suited to the local environment. Soon, word spread around Akwaeze and beyond. People from nearby villages came to him, looking to buy bricks to build sturdy homes for their families. And Chidi's little factory grew. With the income from his brick factory, Chidi began to invest in other areas of his village. He acquired a small piece of land and started building his first rental houses. They were modest but well constructed, and with the demand for decent, affordable housing on the rise, the homes quickly filled with tenants. Seeing the success of this venture, he built more houses, each one slightly better and larger than the last. Soon, his small factory was supplying bricks for projects all around the region, and his rental houses were bringing in steady income. In just a few years, Chidi had done what people had once thought impossible. He'd built a thriving business from scratch, using only his hard work, persistence, and the determination that had carried him through his years abroad. The same villagers who once whispered doubts now spoke of him with admiration. His real estate ventures began transforming Akwaeze, providing housing, employment, and hope to families who had once struggled to make ends meet. He expanded his workforce, hiring locals to help with brick making, construction, and management, creating jobs that kept young people from needing to leave Akwaeze for the city. Chidi's success wasn't just measured in wealth, but in the pride and dignity he had restored to his village. The people of Akwaeze no longer saw him as a man who'd left for riches and returned with nothing. They saw him as a visionary who had endured hardship only to give back tenfold. He became an inspiration, not just for the younger generation who admired his story, but for everyone in Akwaeze who had ever struggled or felt underestimated. One day, as Chidi walked through the village, he passed by the community center he had helped build years ago, now a bustling place where people gathered to learn and share ideas. He felt a deep sense of fulfillment, knowing he had not only returned home, but had helped shape a future for others as well. His wealth wasn't just in his investments or properties. It was in the respect, trust, and gratitude of his people. As the years went by, Chidi's interlocking brick factory grew to become one of the most respected building suppliers in the region. His real estate business flourished, with his properties providing homes for countless families. And every time he looked out over the fields, where houses now stood strong and steady, he was reminded of his journey, the years of struggle, the whispers of doubt, and the dream that had brought him home to make a difference. Chidi's story became legend in Akwaeze, a reminder that wealth built with integrity and resilience could change not only a person's life but an entire community. And the boy who had once left his village with dreams of fortune became a man whose fortune was written in the lives he had touched and the legacy he had built right at home. As Chidi's success continued to grow, he began to consider how he could use his resources to bring even more change to Akwaeze and its surrounding villages. With his experience, he realized that Akwaeze could thrive even more if it had better infrastructure and educational opportunities. So, he started making plans that went beyond bricks and houses. One of his first projects was to upgrade the roads around Akwaeze. Chidi knew that farmers had long struggled to bring their goods to the local markets due to poor road conditions, especially during the rainy season. Using the profits from his brick factory and real estate, he invested in improving the main roads, making it easier for farmers to transport their produce and boosting trade in the village. This change helped local businesses flourish, and people from nearby villages began coming to Akwaeze to buy goods, which brought new life and opportunities to the market. But Chidi didn't stop there. His next dream was to establish a vocational school in Akwaeze, where young people could learn practical skills like construction, carpentry, farming techniques, and business management. He remembered his own journey and the challenges he faced due to a lack of formal education. He wanted the youth of Akwaeze to have a solid foundation before venturing out into the world, or, even better, to find reasons to stay and build their lives right in their village. With the support of the village elders and community donations, Chidi built the school and invited skilled professionals to teach the classes. The vocational school quickly became a hub of activity and hope. Young men and women from Akwaeze and beyond enrolled in the courses, eager to learn skills that could lead them to better lives. As they gained expertise, some of the students began working with Chidi on new projects, contributing to the expansion of the brick factory and helping him design new, affordable housing. Many of the young people who once planned to leave Akwaeze in search of work found fulfilling opportunities right at home, thanks to the new businesses and initiatives Chidi's vision had created. One day, as he was overseeing a new construction project, an old friend named Namdi approached him. Namdi had been one of Chidi's closest friends before he left for the city, but like many others, he had doubted Chidi's choices and had spoken against him when he first returned with nothing to show. Now, however, he looked at Chidi with admiration and respect. "Chidi, you've done more for Akwaeze than anyone ever expected," Namdi said, shaking his head in amazement. "We were wrong to judge you. You had a vision none of us could see." Chidi placed a hand on Namdi's shoulder, a warm smile on his face. "Sometimes the hardest part isn't the journey, but believing in yourself when others don't," he replied. "I've learned that success isn't just about money. It's about giving back, about lifting others as you rise. And we can all do that in some way." With each passing year, Chidi's impact on Akwaeze grew. He set up a community fund to help families in need, providing them with loans to start small businesses or renovate their homes. He built a health clinic and brought in doctors from the nearby town to provide regular checkups for the villagers. Gradually, the village transformed into a thriving, self-sustaining community with a reputation for resilience and growth. As Chidi looked out over Akwaeze, now filled with sturdy brick homes, schools, and businesses, he felt a sense of peace he had never known. The dreams he had once chased abroad had come to life in ways he had never imagined, right here in the village that had raised him. Chidi had become a role model, a symbol of what was possible when determination, humility, and vision met hard work. In the end, Chidi's wealth wasn't measured in material terms, but in the lives he had touched and the opportunities he had created. His story was passed down as a reminder to future generations that greatness could be achieved without ever leaving home, that true success was found not in distant lands, but in the difference one could make in their own community. And for Chidi, that was the richest legacy of all. As Chidi's reputation grew, so did his influence. People from all over the region began seeking his advice, inspired by his journey from hardship to success and the way he had revitalized his village. Soon, other village leaders came to Akwaeze to learn from Chidi, hoping to apply his methods in their own communities. This inspired Chidi to establish a mentorship program for village leaders and entrepreneurs, where they could learn practical skills for starting businesses, managing resources, and serving their people with integrity. Chidi's factory became more than a business. It was now a training ground where local apprentices came to learn about brickmaking, construction, and management. Many of his students went on to start their own businesses, which contributed to a growing network of local enterprises. This network boosted trade between Akwaeze and neighboring villages, creating a regional economy built on trust, cooperation, and shared prosperity. One year, a powerful flood swept through several villages nearby, leaving many homes destroyed and families displaced. The disaster affected hundreds of families, and Akwaeze was not spared. Chidi saw firsthand the extent of the damage to his neighbors' villages, and without hesitation, he rallied his resources to help. With his construction crew and a team of volunteers, Chidi organized an emergency response, providing temporary shelters made from his interlocking bricks and offering food and supplies to the affected families. The efforts didn't end with temporary aid. Chidi collaborated with other village leaders to develop a regional rebuilding program, where they trained villagers in flood-resistant construction techniques and set up a fund to assist those affected by future natural disasters. His vision of community resilience extended beyond Akwaeze, and his work helped prepare the entire region for future challenges. Despite his growing influence, Chidi remained humble. He insisted on living simply, in a home he had built himself, modest but strong. Every day, he walked through the village, greeting the elders, playing with the children, and listening to the concerns of his fellow villagers. People trusted him because he was one of them. He had endured the same hardships and remained grounded in his love for Akwaeze. Years later, at a community gathering, the village elders decided to honor Chidi for his lifetime of contributions. In a heartfelt ceremony, they presented him with a carved staff, a symbol of wisdom and leadership in their culture. As he accepted it, Chidi looked at the faces of his family, friends and neighbors, the very people who had once doubted him, who had once whispered behind his back, and who now looked up to him with gratitude and admiration. Chidi raised the staff and addressed the crowd, his voice steady and warm. "I never did this alone," he began. "Everything we've achieved here is because of all of you, because of the strength and unity in this village. Akwaeze has shown that no dream is too big when a community stands together. I am honored, but I am only one of many who work to make this place better." In the years that followed, Akwaeze continued to flourish, but it was no longer only Chidi's story. His legacy had become the village's legacy, a story of resilience, growth, and unity that spread far beyond their borders. Chidi continued to work, teach, and build for as long as he was able, and his vision lived on in the schools, homes, and businesses he had established, as well as in the hearts of the people he had inspired. And when he finally grew too old to oversee the daily operations, he passed his role on to the younger generation, the very people he had once mentored. They carried forward his spirit of compassion, integrity, and resilience, ensuring that Akwaeze would continue to prosper and that Chidi's story would live on for generations to come. For Chidi, his wealth was measured not in the land or bricks or buildings he had accumulated, but in the legacy of hope and empowerment he had left in Akwaeze. And as he sat in his home, listening to the laughter and chatter of his village, he knew he had found the true riches he had once searched for so far from home.
Thank you so much for joining us on this incredible journey. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to hit like and subscribe for more legends, wisdom, and excitement straight from the heart of Africa. Be sure to click the bell icon so you never miss out on our upcoming captivating stories. See you in the next video.